The courtroom was silent, except for the sound of a single pen tapping against the desk. At the defense table sat Officer Mark Danner, a decorated veteran of the city's police force. His face was stone cold, his jaw tight. Across from him, a young black man, 22-year-old Devin Harris, sat with his lawyer, hands clasped tightly together. The judge cleared her throat. Officer Danner, before we proceed to sentencing, this court is giving you one final opportunity to apologize to the victim and his family. The officer leaned back, smirked slightly, and said, "I've got nothing to apologize for. I did my job." A collective gasp filled the courtroom. Cameras flashed. The judge's eyes narrowed. But what Danner didn't know was that within the next hour, a single piece of video evidence, buried, hidden, and almost destroyed, would end his career forever. 2 years earlier, on a cold February night, Devin Harris was driving home from his late shift at a diner. His taillight was out, something he hadn't even noticed. That's when the red and blue lights appeared in his rear-view mirror. Officer Danner approached the car aggressively, hand already on his weapon. "License and registration," he barked. Devin complied immediately, but as he reached for his wallet, Danner yanked open the door and pulled him out, slamming him against the hood. "Stop resisting." "I'm not resisting." Devin cried. Within minutes, the young man was handcuffed, bruised, and humiliated on the side of the road. The arrest report claimed Devin had reached under the seat for a weapon. No weapon was ever found, but Danner's word was law. And Devin, with no criminal record, suddenly found himself charged with resisting arrest and assaulting a police officer. He lost his job. His college scholarship was revoked. And the local news ran his mugshot with the headline, "Restaurant worker attacks cop during routine stop." Months turned into a year. Devin's life fell apart. His mother, Angela Harris, worked 2 jobs to pay legal fees. Friends stopped calling. The neighborhood whispered. Still, Devin never stopped insisting he was innocent. His lawyer, Rachel Stern, believed him, but without video evidence. Her hands were tied. Officer Danner's body cam footage was unavailable due to technical malfunction. Then one late night, Rachel received an anonymous envelope. Inside was a USB drive. No note, no name. When she opened it, the first frame froze her in shock. It was body cam footage, Danner's own camera, and it showed everything. The video began with Danner's patrol car pulling over Devin's old Honda Civic. The timestamp matched the night of the arrest. The footage clearly showed Devin speaking calmly, hands visible, cooperative. When Danner began yelling, Devin raised his hands, saying, "Officer, I'm just getting my wallet." But Danner, angry and unprovoked, shoved him, then slammed him onto the hood. Then came the moment that sealed Danner's fate. He looked directly into the camera and muttered, "You think the camera's on? Guess what? It's not." He reached up and tapped the lens. But the body cam had been remotely reactivated by dispatch minutes earlier. Every lie in his report was caught in high definition. Rachel sat back, stunned. This wasn't just misconduct. It was evidence tampering and perjury. When the trial finally began, it was supposed to be another word-against-word case. Danner's uniform carried authority. Devin's hoodie and record carried doubt. But this time, Rachel came prepared. During cross-examination, she asked, "Officer Danner, did you file this report yourself?" "Yes, ma'am," he said confidently. "And everything in it is accurate?" "Absolutely." Rachel turned to the judge. "Your Honor, I'd like to submit new evidence." The bailiff dimmed the lights. The screen flickered on. As the footage rolled, the courtroom gasped. The jurors leaned forward. Danner's face drained of color. "You think the camera's on? Guess what? It's not." The video ended. Silence. You could hear people breathing. The judge broke it. "Officer Danner, do you wish to amend your statement?" He didn't speak. His lawyer whispered frantically, but he just sat there, jaw locked, fists clenched. The next day, the prosecution dropped all charges against Devin. But that wasn't the end. The city launched a full internal affairs investigation. Dozens of Danner's past arrests were reopened. 3 other officers testified that they had seen him falsify reports before, but had been too afraid to come forward. Devin sat in the gallery, his mother holding his hand. For once, he didn't feel small. He didn't feel voiceless. He felt seen. The judge announced, "Officer Mark Danner, you are hereby charged with perjury, misconduct, and obstruction of justice." Cameras flashed. Reporters shouted. Danner was escorted out in handcuffs, the same way he'd once dragged Devin. Weeks later, the video went viral. News outlets across the country replayed the footage with headlines like, "Body cam betrayal. Officers lie exposed in court." Danner resigned in disgrace, stripped of his pension. Devin, meanwhile, filed a civil lawsuit and won. But what mattered more was what came after. The police department introduced a new policy requiring all body cam footage to be uploaded to a third-party server within 30 minutes of every shift. One man's injustice had changed the system. Months later, Devin was invited to speak at the courthouse where it all began. The same judge presided. He stood at the podium, took a deep breath, and said, "When that officer refused to apologize, I thought it was the end for me, but it was just the beginning. Because the truth doesn't need an apology. It just needs proof." The courtroom rose in applause. Even the judge wiped away tears. As Devin walked out into the sunlight, reporters surrounded him, but he didn't stop to talk. He just smiled quietly and whispered to himself, "Mom, we made it." The camera would fade on a silhouette walking down the courthouse steps. Finally free, finally believed. And the voiceover closes with your channel tagline. At True Crime Depot, we tell the stories where truth fights back and justice wins.